Hey everybody, Stacy Sturm, URL Radio, and I have a very special guest today. I'm very excited for this guest. I have Ryan Newell. Is that correct, Newell?
That's correct.
Okay, from Sister Hazel. Hi, welcome to the program, Ryan.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for being on with us. So, you and I started our careers around the same time. I remember when I started in radio way back in the day. I played Sister Hazel every freaking hour and a half. It was like on heavy rotation. And I
Uh,
was like, oh, this band, this band.
well, thank you so much for doing that. That
Yeah.
helped us out a lot.
Yeah. So now you joined in 1994. So you weren't one of the original members, but pretty much one of the original members because you were there when everything took off, correct?
Well, the band started as a local band, and all the guys were still in school. And I had played with them. I uh, played on the first record before I was an official member.
Yeah.
Uh, but I told them, I said, if you guys want to do this, uh, quit our day jobs and get in a van and trailer and try to do this for real. I
Yeah.
come on board full time, um, uh, to the detriment of the band I was in at the time. Uh, when they decided to do that, I quit that band and joined Sister Hazel, and we went in and worked on the music and you know uh, took it from there. Uh, and there was another guitar player in the band at the time, that they had to um, tell them that I was joining and that place was being replaced. So that it was a difficult
Yeah.
situation, but we were, we were all excited, and we had talked for years prior, um, about being in a band together. And then when the time came, and we started in a van and trailer, and sold our CDs out of the back of the van and went from club to club around the Southeast, and started building a following.
Did you have any idea that it was going to take off and you guys were going to be like on the radio everywhere? People are going to want your autographs. Or were you just hoping, like, let's hope we can just make a living doing what we like?
Well, I knew that we had a powerful live show, and I believed in our talent, and I uh, I thought we had good songs, and "All for You," the song you probably played every hour.
Yes.
Uh, we could tell that song had something, and that if we could just get it on the radio, we knew it would take off. So
Yeah.
we knew that we just had to find the right people in the industry to witness it for themselves. Um, so, you know, we actually walked it into a couple radio stations in Florida and said, if you play this, we guarantee your phones are going to light up. And they did it. That was back when DJs could actually play stuff
Play what you wanted to play. Like, yeah.
exactly
You
without
could
having.
play local music. You could play local music, like
Yeah.
unsigned artists. Yep.
So they did that, and sure enough, the phones lit up, and labels. They're like the CIA. They see everything.
Yeah.
They saw, that certain radio stations were getting lit up by this song, and they started coming to our shows, and that's when they saw that we had a big following that we had gotten on our own without any kind of uh, major label promotion or anything. And then that's when they started, having bidding wars for us to sign with labels, and we went with Universal Records.
Yeah, isn't that crazy how much things have changed since that time as far as the music industry goes? Like it became so elite and so hard to get signed. Like it went from being really organic to get signed and then super hard to get signed because record companies really only backed two or three people and two or three artists is all you heard on the radio. And now with the internet, all these songs are going viral and these people are becoming artists out of absolutely nowhere. Have you noticed these crazy changes over the years, Ryan?
It's insane. I mean, people overnight become superstars because of a viral video.
Yeah, because somebody used their song in like a rejection video or something.
Or
And then all of
someone
a sudden, yeah.
or someone can say something stupid in a bar, and
Yeah.
next thing you know, they have their own talk show. It is crazy. And I actually love it. I love the fact that you can have access to a kid in his bedroom that just happens to be a musical genius can be discovered that way. I think is brilliant. The only setback is there's, you know, labels used to be a filter for quality.
Yeah.
I know it sounds weird, but because who wants someone censoring what you listen to? But anyway, that was
Right.
their job.
But sometimes
Uh,
not everybody should be viral or famous.
right? Yeah. I mean, there's certain people that I won't mention, but
Yeah.
they 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 say something stupid online and they're famous. And you know what? It's entertaining and that's great. Um, but I do love the fact that you don't have to beat the streets anymore. There's a plus and minus with that. I'll
Yeah.
I'll get to that. But you used to have to go out and go from bar to bar, person to person. And if there's two people in the audience, you hope that there's four people next time. And in that way, you really do hone in on your craft and become a better performer and a better musician, having to play and entertain people live. Now you can sit in your bedroom and work up a video, um, and it goes viral. And I love that, the fact that that talent can be seen without having to beat the streets, so to speak. But I will say that a lot of artists now that make it that way aren't prepared to entertain a crowd.
Yeah.
They're not prepared to put on a show, and
Yep.
they're not prepared to know what to do between songs.
Yeah.
And that's the craft that you learn when you come up in that other way.
Well, and the fame seems to be fleeting. You might have had a viral video go popular because of a trend of some kind, but then 2 months later there's a whole new trend and everybody's forgotten about you. So there is something to say about that organic filtering, that working things up organically, because you guys have been around for 30 years. If you had just been a viral video, you might not be here anymore, like 6 months later. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you try to attach yourself to people's life experiences and memories, and then when they hear your music, they associate it with that.
Yeah.
Um, you don't have much of a life experience when you watch something on your computer, but you do at a live show.
Yeah.
So that's probably the difference.
Well, and I've talked with my morning partner several times about this too, is it seems like there was so many shared experiences that made artists sustainable now, like that have kept people around for so long, because you had shared experiences between like radio or TV or whatever it might be. You might be an artist that has toured for the last 30 years, or you might have had a sitcom on TV for a good 4 or 5 years. The thing is, I'm not going to say we're forced to consume that,
Hmm.
because there was not many other options. I think that's what's kept things around and made people and bands and things so iconic. There's really not a shared experience now with a lot of these artists. My kids will bring up artists that I have not heard of, and we were talking about how humbling kids are before. I find that I'm pretty up with things because of the radio station. Every day they bring up artists, I'm like, who in the hell is that? I have no idea, because we
You
don't
know,
have any shared experiences now. We're not watching or listening to the same thing all the time.
right. A lot of it could be information overload. I
Hmm.
think there's just so much out there when you combine the internet with radio and with TV and all that. There's just so much, um, that if you're not producing like ear candy hit after hit,
Yeah.
you come and go.
Yeah.
You know, um, we had a hit, but we also prided ourselves on making good records, and we prided ourselves on having a good live show. And I think that's what's kept us around. Um, but I do think times are different. I think people, uh, their attention span is a lot shorter now. Um, and I also think a part of it too is we paid special attention to colleges. We played a lot of colleges when we were coming up.
Yeah.
And college is when you decide who your favorite band is,
Mm-hmm.
when you decide what your career is going to be. That's when you decide who you're going to fall in love with and spend the rest of your life with. And if you catch people at that formative age, you you form lifelong fans, you know.
It's true. Yeah.
Because now, as an adult, I'll listen to something and not be a super fan of the band. I'll like the song, but I don't become like super fan. Where back in college, I'm like, this is my band, you know. This is good,
Yeah.
you know. Uh,
So have you noticed that over the year? Do you notice though that you're getting an influx of new fans?
we've been blessed to have the gamut of young kids, older people, and everything in between. What's really cool is to see some of our fans start to bring their kids to the show,
Yeah.
and they're kind of raising them to like our band. And I think that creates lifelong fans as well. Um, but I think our music, I think it transcends generations. It's something that people can agree on. Um, we're not big. We don't use foul language or anything like that.
Yeah.
People can play it for their kids, and it's storytelling. I think there's good musicianship there, and I think that translates between the generations.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you guys have been consistently writing and putting out albums for the last 30 years, is it getting harder? Is it getting easier? How do you keep it fresh after all these years trying to come up with material?
That's a great question. I think we've gotten better at it, but at the same time, it's gotten a little more difficult uh, because we're not together as much as we used to. We all used to live in the same town and hang out and stuff, and we're all
Yeah.
in different states now. We do see each other plenty on the road, but I think the separation of when we go home, we've all formed different musical tastes. So when we bring a song to the table, immediately there ends up being two, maybe three camps of people that disagree,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it hard. Is I'll hear a song and go, oh, I know exactly what to do, and then someone will disagree with me, and we're like, oh, why does it have to be this hard? Why can't we
Right.
just do it? And interesting enough, that makes for a more creative sound in the end because of the butting of the heads.
Yeah.
Uh, you go down a path that neither side expected at all, and you break open new doors and you find stuff that is common ground and that you agree on, and it ends up being different than what any one of us would do alone. And I think that's what makes this band special is you know we all respect each other personally and musically, and we listen to each other, and instead of dismissing opinions that you don't agree with, you go down roads that you're uncomfortable with. All of us do, and I think the end result ends up being greater than what we would have done
Mhm.
on our own.
Now, you guys, for the most part, have had the same members throughout all 30 years, which is also unusual because usually when I look up bios from people I'm interviewing, I'm like, he was a guitar player, he was a guitar player, he was a guitar player,
Yeah,
he was a guitar player. That doesn't seem to be the case with Sister Hazel.
no, we've stuck it out. um, it hasn't been easy, and at the same time, uh, it has been because we're genuine friends. Like, we would choose to hang out with each other outside of the band. I
Hmm.
know a lot of bands that, they're not particularly close on a friendship level. They just make a great noise when they play together. Um, we actually were friends first,
Yeah.
and that has helped us. That and a shared sense of humor, and the ability to learn from our mistakes and realize that not every decision we make is precious. That we're in it for the long haul, and not to fight every battle. You know, lay out sometimes and just let things happen.
Yeah. Most memorable performance. Was there a time where it just really stuck on your head and you're like, man, this is the best thing ever?
Oh wow. Um, well, we played so much. I don't know if I could nail it down to just one time. I mean, I think when we opened for the Allman Brothers 2 nights in a row at Red Rocks in Colorado, I think that sticks out in all of our minds, because we'd look over at the side of the stage and see Dickie Betts, the guitar player for the Allman Brothers,
Yeah.
uh, watching our band, and Greg Allman watching our band. And it was the first time we played with them. I think that was really special for us because they were a big influence on us.
Red Rocks seems to be a popular venue for artists, like artists. They're like, that is one of my favorite places to play.
Yeah, it's amazing. It sounds incredible because there's no parallel walls or anything. It's just
Yeah.
it's rocks. Uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, we're actually playing there in April. Uh,
So you guys have a new CD album coming. I don't even know what to call it anymore. That's how much the times have changed. Before it was like, hey, the new album drops, and now it's like CDs, and now it's back to albums, and now it's
it-
MP3s. Sand, Sea, and Crash Debris. Tell us about that one.
well, it's our new record.
Yeah. What's the name? Is the name significant?
We have an interesting process on when we come up with names for a record. We all are given post-it notes, and we write down. We give each other 2 minutes. It's usually in a hotel room or on the bus. 2 minutes, go, and you write whatever's on the top of your head on these post-it notes, and then we put them on the wall, and then everyone walks by and they get 3 stars, and you put a star by three of them. The rest of them come down, and then we go, all right, another 2 minutes, go. And then we do it again, and we do that for hours until we come up with the title of the record. Um, and this one, we were leaning towards one title, but no one really loved it. It just was okay with everyone. And last minute, there was another post-it note on the wall that was sand, sea, and crash debris, and that uh, we talked about what that meant to us. Uh, you certainly want to leave it up to interpretation for our audience, but it
Yeah.
meant something to us, and that's what we went with.
I love that post-it notes. It's very democratic. This is
Oh,
probably why you guys still get along because there's a very democratic process to this. So
uh,
that's
we
pretty cool.
yeah, we are the most democratic band out there. Sometimes to our detriment. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, we worked one producer one time, and he told our manager to the side without us knowing it. He goes, "They have some weird Chinese democracy going on."
So
uh,
what are your favorite tracks on Sand, Sea, and Crash Debris?
let's see. I like a song that our bass player Jet wrote, "Lay Your Worries Down." I think that one came out really good. There's a song on there called "Complicated You" that I wrote with Ken and Jet at Ken's house in Florida years ago, probably 15 years ago. And that song completely disappeared. We played it live a couple times. We really believed in the song, but it just never found a home. And we pulled it out, and um, someone found it in their treasure chest of old demos, and we heard it, and we were like, why is this not on tape? And we reworked it, and
Mhm.
thought it sounded good, and I'm happy to hear that because it makes me nostalgic, and I'm happy with how we did it today. I think if we were to recorded it 15 years ago, it wouldn't have been as good as what we did with it today. So that song excites me. Um, but really, there's a bunch of stuff on this record that I feel like has sounds and textures that we haven't done before, and that excites me. This is why I keep doing it.
Yeah. Are you guys always trying to chase the next like all for you, or are you just trying to come up with music that you
Not,
guys think is really good?
not even so that's not even on our radar.
Yeah.
We just try to do our best, uh,
Yeah.
and we try to please ourselves. Really, we're not trying to please. This sounds horrible, but we're not trying to write for our audience. We're trying to write for ourselves. And I think if you write for yourself, you're doing the best thing for your audience.
Hmm.
Uh,
Plus, then you're playing music that you don't hate, that you don't like.
yeah,
You know
I
what
mean,
I mean? Yeah.
if it's not genuine and
Yeah.
if you don't even like it, how can you expect someone else to like it? So we try to please ourselves first.
Now, one thing else before we go is I see you guys have a nonprofit organization that I think this is amazing. It's Lyrics for Life. And that's near and dear to my heart as well. Because the reason I have this fabulous green hair today is
Mhm.
because I'm a cancer survivor. So
Oh,
I just beat cancer 2 years ago. So
that's
I beat late stage ovarian cancer. And so that's really great when I saw this that you guys do Lyrics for Life. So tell us a little bit about Lyrics for Life too.
well, it's a charity. Kim Block, our lead singer, his brother passed away when he was 18 years old. Um, and when we finally started getting recognition in the band, um, he took it upon himself to take that recognition and try to do good with it. And of course, we're right behind him and support him in every way. He created Lyrics for Life, and it's a charity that helps support children's cancer. And the original idea was we would have artists write lyrics to their songs um, on anything,
Mm,
paper plate, a
yeah.
napkin. Uh, Edwin McCain was a pilot. He wrote his lyrics on a propeller. Um, you know,
What?
we've had lyrics from
Yeah.
Elton John, Paul McCartney, and we frame it up real nice, and we have an auction, and then we have a concert, uh, and we invite special guests. We've had Darius Rucker, we've had Pat Monahan from Train, Tonic, Sean Mullins, um, and we have a show and we have an auction. We have a good time and we raise a lot of money for kids.
That's awesome. I feel like pediatric cancer does not get enough attention. Like so much cancer research goes into like what they say, something like 70 or 80% of like cancer research money goes into like breast cancer or pediatric cancer doesn't get much funding.
Yeah, I mean that was a big focus for us, uh, partly because Ken lost his brother at such a young age. Um, but no, I mean we've gone to hospitals and we've done special acoustic shows for kids and stuff, and it's just it's always been the most important for us.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's wrap it all up. Sand, sea, crash, debris. Uh,
Yes,
is that out and available now if people want to download it or buy it?
it is. It's out and it's streaming on all your streaming platforms.
So Spotify, Apple Music,
Yeah,
all that good stuff.
it has been released. Yes.
And if people want to find out more information, like tour schedule, all that good stuff, what's the best way to do that for you guys?
Sisterhazel.com. And we have a Facebook page and X, Twitter.
Okay. So Sand, Sea, Crash, Debris, available now, Spotify, iTunes, all the major streaming platforms. Also check out sisterhazel.com for a tour schedule and also merchandise. And thanks so much for being on with me today, Ryan. This was awesome getting to chat with you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Is there anything else you want to tell people before I cut you off?
I think we're all good.
Okay. Well, thanks for being on with us today. Good luck for the rest of your guys' touring. I know you have a big schedule coming up already starting in December.
Yes,
So
we
yeah.
do.
So check out Sister Hazel, see if they're coming to a city near you. You need to come to a city near me. Nobody, we're in a concert wasteland right now, Ryan. We don't get any shows unless we go to Minneapolis. It kind of sucks, but
Well, get us out there. We'll
I
come.
will. I'll have to
Yeah.
do something for
Yes.
sure. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today.
All right. Thank you, Stacy.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.